Hey guys, and welcome back to my world. So I've finally started playing a bit more with 1.9 snapshots, and first thing that I needed was a reliable clock. Now a lot of people are happy with having a 20 hertz a second or 20 commands a second clock, but for various things that I do need to be able to slow a clock down. Okay, so it's important for me in various games and game modules to actually be able to control the speed of a clock. Now, there's a number of options that we have for a clock, and I'm going to go through them with you right now. Now, first of all, we just have the absolute super fast clock, which is actually the repeater block. So what I've got on the side, I've just got a comparison of the speeds. So all the final commands, so in the green command blocks, all these final commands, all they are doing is actually just adding one to my a fake player score, just so that you can actually see the speed at which they are running. So first of all, you can see we have a very fast clock. Now this is just the normal repeat clock, the repeat block. Set to being always active, and you'll see that it's just adding a 1 to a score, a fake player called super fast. Alright, so as you can see, it is pretty much double the speed of the next one in line. So I mean, we can reset this at any time, so you can actually see how quickly this runs. Okay, then the next series of clocks, actually, I saw this from Skyliner W. Fantastic, clever chap. Go check him out on Twitter. His resources is invaluable for a lot of the stuff that we're doing. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure I understand exactly how this works, but maybe I do. But let's see. So first off, what this command block is doing is it's actually checking for it's testing for a command, a chain command block. Okay. And it is testing that is facing any direction. So -1 means it can be in any direction, and it's looking for a negative or a success count to 0. So this command block over here must fail for this one to become active. Now you'll see this little arrow over here, that this command over here is set to being conditional. So this command will only be activated when this command block over here is successfully finds that this command block over here is negative, or did not successfully run its command. So once again, this command over here is fast timer, and it sets it to 1. So you can see it on the time. That's about half the speed of the fast block. Okay, so what happens is it checks if this command block is successfully run a command. If it's not, it then sets itself to being successful, which then actually runs the command. So it runs, then it does another tick, checks if this command block is this command was not run. In this case, it was run, so it sets itself to negative and it does not activate. The next run, this one is now negative, and then sets it to 1, etc. And it just carries on. Now the next one actually adds one extra block. So once again, the chain block, the repeat block right in the beginning checks to see if the block in the end has successfully run a command. If it has not, it sets itself to state to 1, which then activates the next conditional repeater block, which sets itself its own success count to 1, which then activates this one and then takes it away. I'm going to be honest, I don't quite understand how this works, but it works. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Skylander can explain it to you guys in the comments if he actually watches this video. Now, if you want to increase it once again, so you'll see that we now have the slow clock. You'll see once again that is roughly half of the fast clock, which is half of the super fast clock. Okay, so it looks like we're going slightly halves every time. It does exactly the same. This block checks to see if that block has successfully run a command or not successfully run a command. The next one does exactly the same. It also checks to see if that one has successfully run a command. And then the one right before this one sets itself to success count 1 again. So when this all runs through, it slows it down by 1/3, I think I would say, or no, well, 1/4 or 1/4, whatever it is. It slows it down quite a bit. Now the next one, now of all of my tests, you'll see that it takes more and more command blocks to actually slow it down more and more. So you'll see this is not exactly like the others, was roughly about half slowed down from before. So you can see it's just a little bit slowed down, so not by much. I mean, if we reset this, you'll see it. Yeah, it's roughly a few ticks behind. Okay, it's exactly the same. This one checks for that for the green block. This one checks for the green block. This one checks for the green block, and this one just sets itself. And now the next and last one that I'm going to be looking at is actually something that I saw from Rockabilly's video, where basically he uses scoreboards to actually set the timer. Now I was at first I wasn't too sure about this. I mean, I love scoreboards, I love entities, but somehow it just didn't feel right. But when I started actually using it in my projects, it actually became an incredibly powerful timer. It is the most configurable from all timers I think I've ever actually seen. And this is actually compatible with 1.8. You can absolutely do this with 1.8. Not quite as elegantly, but you can. Okay, so basically in our repeater block over here, all we're doing is we are adding a clock objective. We're adding one to the clock objective at the entity timer over here. Okay, so once every tick, we're adding one to this armor stand. Then directly after it, what we are doing is when that timer's score reaches 40, we reset the clock to 0. Okay, so this runs. When it hits 40, it resets that timer stand to 0, or that timer armor stand to 0. Now you'll see the important bit is that over here we then have a conditional chain block that will run a command when that is set to 0. Now you'll see all this does is just then add 1 to the uber slow timer, so you can see it on the side. So if I just reset it all again, there you go. You should now be able to see it much clearly how slow it is. Now if you want to speed this up, let's say you want to make it like once a second, you can make that 20, and you'll see that it will immediately kind of speed up well, one a second. If you want to make it even slower, you can actually, you know, just make this like 60, and now it'll be really slow. 14, right? You'll see it'll be one tick every 3 seconds basically. Okay, so very simple. Adds 1 to the score, sets the score to 0. Because this is conditional, it will then activate once the score set to 0. Now you can do a bunch of other things with this as well. I mean, if I were to add another conditional block over here that says conditional, always on, you'll see that with every tick, I can then actually add something happening to it. Every single time my score goes up 1, it can do things. So you can actually time things quite marvelously with this. Okay, well, this is all I'm going to be sharing in this particular video. These are the clocks to use. Once again, this commands are in descriptions. The people's Twitters and channels in the description as well. Check that out. Cool, guys. And as always, I will check you all later.